Hello, everybody. Good evening. Welcome to my room. We have been talking about proactive wellness, and we are going to talk about specifically on nutrition and exercise. Those two components are very important for all of us. But what does it involve in being proactively well and cultivating that, and also really incorporating some measures in our daily food and also activity, right? Very important, but often neglected because we grab something and then we don't stick to what we are supposed to eat and don't spend few minutes on evaluating what is the nutrition that's going into us and what time and how, right? And also what are the uh, testing we need to do to keep a track on what is going on underlying conditions, right? Uh, Usually, it's like kind of somebody gets sick, and then we go to our own doctor, and then we may do some kind of control of the diet and exercise for a while because we are asked to. And then I'm talking about regular people, right? Even executives, even the doctors themselves, they don't pay much attention to this. I keep on reminding this. I keep on asking about having that kind of thing. But lately, we have been doing much more advanced study of your metabolism, of what's going on underneath in your cellular level and biological markers and all that, right? That really gives you a good idea about what's going to happen down the line. It could be from your family history or your own personal medical history or your own testing that you have it done, all the lab tests and scans and everything that we have in our doctor's offices. They give us a profile of what is your health had been. And also now with the genomics, we can also predict some things much sooner, right? So that is there. So proactive wellness is where not just knowing the food groups and eating them, but also what is appropriate for us according to the deficits we have discovered through the blood testing and all that. Okay, that's what we're going to talk about a little bit, and also activity, especially in terms of weather changing or this massive heat that's going on, or the rains and all those things, natural calamities. This is going to go much worse. So we're going to go talk about activity and also how you should be actively working on a very hot environment, right? A lot of people don't pay attention to that. But That's a very big deal going on because people are having 115 and so on an average temperature, which is very hot, and also it can go up to 125 in some spots later on in the few years that are going to come up. So I want to focus attention on that too. Activity in this heat. What are the precautions you have to take, and also what are the things that can warn you according to your age, your gender, your genomic makeup, and also your culture and all those things, right? So an intelligent way of addressing these fundamental things, not like a just you have to do it, you will do it, but really planning and giving them the due place that they need in your daily routine is very important. So that's why I was, hello Karen, welcome. So it's a kind of proactive wellness is where we are really paying attention to the details of what we have found out with that monitoring I talked about, right? And then you can eat rightly and you can eat exercise rightly, and then reasonably keep our wellness, well-being together, right? There are other things too, but these are important. We're going to talk about emotional well-being or intellectual well-being, and also how do you relax and really sleep well. All those things will be there too. Okay. Hopefully that makes interesting subject for you, and anybody interested in that, they can come up and talk to me also. That will be okay. There's Muckle, Foxy, and Daily Shift. They are there on the Wisdom app. They can come up to. So, as we saw today, Uh, I think the northeastern states are really bombarded with a slow moving storm, and they were reaching 8 inches of rain. And then there was so much damage. Some people have problems. I think not anybody died or anything, but they had millions of dollars loss of property, but also a lot of inconvenience. And they had to declare emergency, and then Biden has declared that, and they're getting the aid, but it takes a long time to recover from such a disaster, right? So yesterday New York, and today this one. Tomorrow is going to be New England, I believe. And then in that atmosphere, torrentious rains one side and then heat on the side. There was an interview of a gentleman who said the heat can kill you. That's the title of this book, I believe. And he was talking about how people are not really paying attention to this extreme heat, and how they are subjecting themselves to vulnerability from the heat, and the heat can kill you. Actually, it's like a predator like. It kind of goes and after the people who are vulnerable with heart disease and other things, right? So it's a kind of important thing to understand what's going on here, right? So when we take the nutrition, for example, for the heat, you got to make sure you are hydrated adequately, right? That is important on days like this, and normally also you keep on taking a lot of fluid during the day and keep yourself hydrated, so all the organs are plenty of hydration is there. 70% of our body is water, right? So you got to, if you, even if you go a few percentage, 2 or 3%, you will not function very well. And especially in the weather like this, humid weather and hot weather is not good at all. So we need to understand that. Okay. Then the other thing is uh, the fruits and the vegetables that you consume, they could be water filled. There are a lot of fruits and vegetables that are really very nice, right? And then uh, you could you could really um, be paying attention to that, what kind of nutrition I'm taking, but also what kind of hydration is there in those fruits and vegetables, which really helps us to maintain the natural balance of water better, because the fluid that is stored by the plants, either vegetables or the fruit, that is much more mineral rich, right? So that's why in India, where we used to drink a lot of coconut water, because that's freshly from the tree, and then you can just make a small opening on the top and put a straw and then drink all that coconut water. Even though it's only a small glass of it, it goes a long way to hydrate you, to also correct your mineral deficiencies and all that. So very popular drinks like that. There are pumpkins, there are watermelons, so many fruits that are rich in water. Okay, so when it comes to nutrition, apart from all the groups and everything that we talk about all the time, hydration in this weather is very much aided by the fruits and vegetables that are rich in water. Okay, um, eating less fries, eating more like natural water containing fruits, and all those things are very important, right? And proactive wellness with nutrition is nowadays people are going with the food groups. Okay, that's one way. It's not a bad way, but then lots of times we may be less in macronutrients and supplements, right? That is something we can now determine whether you need it or you don't need it, right? Once that need is really identified with proper testing, and you can give foods and liquids that are rich in this, right? That's a very, very important thing. Hi, Angela. She's here. I will invite her. She wants to come up. Um, Good day, everyone. Yeah, Angela, how are you? Good and yourself? Yeah, I'm good. So I'm running this new series about how can we proactively pay attention to our wellness. You know, so this is a third talk I think on this series. I was just talking about how proactive we have to be with nutrition, and I was talking about hydration in this very hot weather. There was a book came out that heat could kill you, and he was warning about how people are taking for granted just because we are in the air conditioned weather we are going to be okay. It's not, so a lot of dehydration, a lot of problems happen with living in the air condition, right? That's why you have to replace that book was very impressive because it does draw attention to how heat is killing. It seems in I think Texas, I believe they moved there, and then they were hiking. But these are young, very fit people, whole family, four of them, and so they were hiking a lot all the time. This time they went hiking, and then when they're coming back, they had a stretch of 2 miles where they could not really have any trees or any shade. So all of them are found dead the next day because they could not take the heat. It was going up to 115 and all that. So underestimating that and then not having enough hydration, all that is a big problem. That's why I was telling people, be careful and really hydrate yourself. That kind of thing. We are going to talk about nutrition as a whole, Angela, today, and also we're going to talk about optimal exercise in this heat, and also how can you design exercise program proactively according to what your history, what your genes, what your family history, and all that. What do you think about that, Angela? Being proactive with these things. Sounds great. What book was it that you was reading, though? I was not reading. It was a review made on the public. I know you wasn't reading. You don't read so many books. But what book were you talking about? Yeah. That book is the author came on the news hour and they interviewed him. They interviewed him because he wrote the book a while ago, but he was really pointing to two factors. One is people are still not aware of all this heat is caused by the climate change done by us by burning all the fossil fuels. The second thing is people are underestimating how heat can kill you. That's why his book name is Heat Can Kill You. That's the name, I think. So it was a very important book. I think he brought to focus on something very important that people don't really take it serious how hot this is getting and how dangerous it's going to get further. So that's why I thought in this wellness will also incorporate what is currently going on and how we should be careful about it. So they were planning a lot of water areas that people can go and drink water. They want to re-engineer everything, and they also want to warn people about the dangers much more because people are not aware and people are dying. That's why he quoted that young family that they're in good health, and then they were used to hiking. They were used to all that. They thought they would be okay, but they were killed that way. So they had no chance at the time, I believe. Most of the Texas and other places, because they got all these trees burnt out, is going to be much much hotter. That's why he was talking about that. The book name is "Heat Can Kill You," something like that. You know. You live in the east, right, Angela?
I'm over here in New York City. Yes.
Yeah. What happened with the flash floods yesterday? Were you involved in that?
What happened?
Floods that happened in yesterday.
What happened?
There were several flash floods, right? People had so much of damage in New York State.
Oh, I don't know. Was it from the rain?
Yeah, from the rain. They had
Yes.
something like 8 inches rain in one night.
Yeah, because I know the lady I was talking to yesterday. She said they had tornadoes down
Yeah.
there in South Carolina.
Uh-huh.
Well,
But
here in the city, it was just a whole lot of rain,
okay, but
which is good. It cleaned the streets.
okay, but some areas of New York, they had the floods and then a lot of damage and a lot of people were inconvenienced and all that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's probably more on the mountain, like not the mountain, up on the hilly part,
Yeah.
like going up Yonkers and
Yeah.
upstate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Today it happened in Virginia, I think, and then
Wow.
tomorrow it's going to be New England. And these people also, Virginia had a tremendous damage because of the floods and too much of water. And Biden had to declare it as an emergency. And then they're going to get all the aid, but a lot of damage to the property, I believe. That's why they brought this man to interview what's going on, what's happening with that. You know. Anyway, this my subject about proactive wellness. I brought it because there was this gentleman. He's a 84-year-old, but he kind of coined the term proactive wellness, and he does it like he takes so many supplements. He checks himself for toxins, for mercury, lead, and then corrects them. So he's 84, but still very active in so many boards of the companies. He's a biotech person, so he has really contributed to that proactive wellness, not only personally by his own experimentation, but also funding the companies that are involved in that. So I was very happy to see his story, and then I picked up on that because that's what I always tell people, not to be obsessive about our wellness, but just being intelligent and being proactive. What do you think about that idea, Angela?
I, I like them all. I like the one with the dehydrating because that's very important now too.
Yeah.
Like you said, they find that a lot of more elders
Mhm.
is like actually being dehydrated,
Yeah.
and no one usually check on them. And I also see they concerned about the heat too,
Yeah.
with the combinations of the hurricane and the tornadoes. It's a combination they got going on.
Yeah.
So it's a lot going on. So you got good topics right there.
Yeah. This heat killing is more like a predatory. That means it hunts people who are vulnerable, like, all the people who are having poor hearts and the elderly and not able to really adjust to the volume changes that easily. Those people are more vulnerable. And that's why the more people know about this, and also they are anticipating much, much worse, much worse heated summers down the line. In another 5 years, it will be so bad that people will be really having problems with that too. So I think these are simple things, but then unless you make arrangements for that, like a um, few days or a few nights are not enough. You got to adjust these things over months and years. That's why having this awareness of what is going on out there, how that is going to influence our metabolism, and what are the changes we should be making. I thought that is very important. I'm glad Public Channel has allotted some subject about this, about heat and what happening. He was inviting everybody to go and investigate on this, not just his book, but also Google and other places too. So he was very concerned, and he was first he said a little concerned. Then he said no, no, not little concerned, a lot concerned. A much more normal concern is there. People are really underestimating the heat and then they succumb to it. Hi, Nazli. I think I heard her.
Hey, Missy, yeah. They said it's the number one killer too in out of the environment.
Yeah.
Since the climate change,
Yeah.
like you said, with all the trees are being missing. That's why I say a lot of people just don't know how important a tree is to
Yeah,
us.
very important.
Trees are very important.
Yeah. Even now, you see, a lot of people are not aware, but the fossil fuels are getting, getting our carbon dioxide high, but also cutting down the trees is not really in our favor, to say the least. I think that's kind of dumb thing as a human we are doing it, because trees can protect us in so many ways. Even you see, the forest fires happened in that on that hill front where this family went for hiking, and because that was there, that stretch that they had to come for 2 miles is completely bare. There were no trees at all because they were all burnt down and cut down. So they could not rest anywhere. They could not take shelter, and they don't have any coolness. If the trees were there, they would have been much protected. So so many ways trees protect us. And somebody like you, Angela, who is a gardener, who tries to raise trees, you are aware of that. But a lot of people are not aware of that at all. That's why we still have to get up and talk about this. Otherwise, people may not get it. So we can talk all philosophy and everything, but what is important is what is happening practically out there. Even for the nutrition, if you have organically grown foods and then combination of fruits, vegetables, right fats, and also nuts and then seeds, all those things are wonderful for you if you can really pay attention to that. But people are more and more processed food, borrower, synthetic, more and more non-organic foods. That's what they are getting, and they just, especially these fast foods, they really are so bad in that sense. That is there too. So I thought this proactive wellness, I will go detail. I made some videos too. I have posted in my house, but I will get it and post it here also. That way people can see that.
That's great. I'll be doing some stuff with the kids this Thursday, so I know it's going to be hot because the garden they relocate us in is no trees really there at all besides the ones on the side of the street. And if I showed you a picture of how the garden was, it was like going into a forest. You would
Yeah.
have never thought it was you would have never thought it was in the city.
Yeah.
So that was look at. And yeah, we probably be doing a lot of different fruits, drinks.
Yeah.
So I know I'll be picking up a couple of like watermelon, pineapples, cucumbers. We got basil in the garden. We got some. I don't know if they have any lavender in there because we have to replant everything we had in the garden from before.
Yeah.
So we just are bringing in a lot of herbs because I see with the family that came from India, I see a lot of their stuff is like being burnt, not being so much, but like the eggplants, because we don't have the shade of the trees anymore.
Yeah. Yeah.
And those questions I sent them to you. I don't know if you was able to find them or not for the book that you said you would answer for me.
Oh,
So
I got so busy making these videos and doing this, and more major influences have come my way, and then they were taking me to different directions. I'm sorry, Angela, but I will complete them for sure. Okay, I'll complete them. Probably I'll sit down today or tomorrow and I'll complete them. I
I know
forgot.
you've been very busy.
Yeah. Actually, even the things I want to do, I was not able to do because something has come. Today, I was with Rocky, and then we were talking about a lot of stuff. They were asking me to do some rooms for them on mind and mindset and all that. So I said, okay, I got very enthusiastic about that, and then I did a lot of work on that. So I'm sure, Angela, you will find those rooms, come and enter to them because you will like them because they are about how do you manage your mind? How do you manage your thoughts? How do you manage your emotions? Not suppressing them or not giving them completely free expression, but really understanding where is intelligence about thought, way to use it properly, way to not let go, in a way that is going to be very much like a you will suffer the consequences of the overthinking, which I'm seeing quite a lot. And also the people who kind of carry the memories and everything and suffer a lot too. I have a lot of compassion for that because it is really not needed. We could be silent most of the time and use the thought. That is what I say. It may sound radical, but actually that is our human intelligence that is there, and we don't have to really go through that suffering. For example, my patients who come in there, if they tell me I'm kind of not able to sleep, I got up in the morning, in the evening, and I'm going tossing and turning in the middle of the night, then I can easily fix that so that they can have a long, deep, quality sleep, so that they are having the benefits of the good sleep in the morning. Otherwise, this can go on. Well, they may take a glass of wine and then they will get up in the middle of the night and they can go back to sleep. That small things like that will go a long way towards your long-term wellness. That's what I was focusing on. And then I learned this new skill of making videos, Angela, and I was able to make a lot of videos on different subjects. All these things come out. Oh, I should be making that. I should be making, and then I do. Like today, I was making on this proactive wellness, and also I made on sleep also. So I kind of brought in the modern perspective on the sleep, but also I know a couple of things from yoga which really helps me to relax completely and then sleep well. They are the yoga nidra and also dead man's pose. These two things. Yoga nidra actually makes you very very relaxed. And then shavasana is the thing that we do after a good yoga workout. You just do that, you will be so relaxed after that, and it's a very good thing. All the major yoga teachers, they teach you that. First have a session where you need the body, and then you do it with the deep breathing where you are energizing the body, and also keep it in the present so that your thought is not going all over. After all of that, all those three sessions, they just lie down and do this dead man's pose, which is very relaxing. Are you familiar with that, Angela? Maybe not, but that's something
Yeah,
important.
I heard you talk about it before. I was just trying to look into your video up
Yeah.
there.
Okay.
Yes, because you took me through that before when we was in here, some of the meditation parts, and I love the part about, every hour take that minute to just
Yeah.
stay still
Yeah.
and breathe
We
and
have some
meditate.
new folks
So I
here.
was,
Welcome, Lucy, Dr. Sharma, and Alara. Anybody wants to come up, please come up, and we can have a dialogue or any questions. We are talking about proactive wellness. I am a physician, but also I'm a yoga practitioner. So my wellness comes from combining the best of both systems of modern medicine and also ancient wisdom from yoga, Advaita Vedanta, Ayurveda, and all that. Not to go overboard, but then just to adopt what is good for us. That kind of thing I'm trying to convey to people. So this proactive wellness is an inspiration from this Leroy Hood. He is a 84-year-old man. He started so many biotech companies related to so many things. Wellness is also one of them. And he does get his blood tested so often, and then he kind of takes the what is deficient, all the supplements. I think he takes a very number of lot of supplements before noon every day. That's one thing he does. And also he tests for any toxins, like especially for mercury and lead, and then gets it corrected. Of course, so you can correct vitamin deficiencies, supplement. So many things are there, especially if you are doing nutrition that's not good. That's like a processed food. A lot of older people have a lot of deficiencies when they come. We kind of give them vitamin B12 routinely, and other things too. But then supplements themselves are very important for a lot of people too. I don't give them routinely, but if they are deficient, then I will do them. Now, lately, we got more metabolic workup, biological workup, much more detailed. With same blood samples, we can do a lot, right? So that is something has been happening here. Okay, no hand raising button. Okay, let me see. Okay, okay, there it is. Sharon, there is a hand raising button. If you want to come up, it's good.
Hi, Dr. Ram. How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing okay.
Okay.
I'm doing okay. I've been listening for a little bit, and I saw the title of room, and I saw came across as I was in another room.
Yeah.
And I know that you've done a lot of rooms on burn. Actually, I tried to catch a room. Was it yesterday or earlier?
Yeah.
Burnout.
Yeah.
But I think it ended before I got into the room.
Oh.
But yeah.
Yeah.
But that's okay because I am one burnout doctor. I'll tell you that right now.
Yeah.
So I'm actually pivoting. I am actually in the process of closing my private practice.
Oh.
Haven't really set up publicly yet until now on a public platform. And just I'm just gonna be practicing medicine differently on my terms.
Yeah.
And I do take wellness seriously. I still do things like try to eat well, like I eat clean, I would say 80-90% of the time. I still work out. Like right now, I'm having some sleep disturbances.
Yeah.
When people get stressed, they gain weight. I lose weight. But so I am. I'm making stride to get back to me, and I think I'm just burnt out from working just like these crazy hours during the pandemic, and trying to get myself back to equilibrium. So some things has just got to go.
Yeah, that's why I'm really highlighting burnout lately, because a lot of doctors are forced to leave the profession, and then I can understand that, but other people may not be able to. My point is, we can be more internal resilient, and then face the problems with the newly renewed our energy from within. It's not going to happen just like that, but then I do focus on how we can really not to react and to respond, how we can make our mind stable with meditation. So I do a lot of things towards that. Okay, basically I concentrate on the nutrition, activity, sleep, and also the calming the mind. This I think we should do to prepare for the job that we have to do, because there are so many demands now. So many people in the middlemen are telling us rather than what we could do with the patient. That's a big real problem for doctors, because they want to help the patient and they are not able to, and that puts them under a lot of pressure, because they may have problem with the license if something goes wrong. At the same time, they make us do it on our license. That is why I kind of fought very hard the system. But I talk about system also when I'm working in the hospitals. I did fight with the system. I did what is important for the patient, and also I kind of educated the patient how these insurance companies are making them sign something that they cannot escape from, and they don't see it. And so all those bad practices, I'm very much against. I can help you, Sharon, if you want to talk to me privately. We will talk and we'll see what I'm doing, what I have been helping colleagues for so many years, and how I myself handle the pressures that everything that come across me. I do mostly telehealth right now, but then the mostly these rooms I do them too, because this is more like a service for me rather than business. So like I kind of I come and help my colleagues to really see through some things. And maybe they don't have the time as I have to look into that. That's also important because I'm now 69, right? So I kind of did four and a half decades of that, but still I'm active with so many things. But mostly policy change and awareness of this burnout with the public, all the health measures. I'm after wellness. I promote
Yeah.
wellness. I want health system to be wellness oriented. That's where
Yeah.
I'm really setting up. So if you want to go and see those videos that already were there or replace, you can. If you want any particular thing that you want to talk about specifically, I am there for you all the time. Okay, just to know about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Do you have a link on let's see, YouTube also?
Yeah, yeah. YouTube. YouTube is a
Yeah.
raw,
Okay.
raw
Um.
concern. There. I have more videos I made lately. I'm going to put them in there because I want them to be arranged properly by topic and all that. Like for example, today I made 4 videos on sleep, right? The 4 videos on the sleep talk about what is the modern way we know about REM sleep, NRM sleep, and all the waves and everything that is there, but also what I learned from yoga about yoga nidra, that is yoga sleep, right? And also this dead man pose, which is very important, which I was talking about. Those kind of things are non-invasive, and you don't have to take any religion. Yoga is not about religion, really. Once you understand that, then you can make it a lifestyle, and which will, like I am 69, right? I don't take any medications because I try to adjust my diet, activity, and also main thing with me is I silence my mind most of the day, not deliberate, but it's the natural state. And then I use the thought when I need it. A lot of people don't understand, but that is our natural state, to be silent, to be calm, to be quiet, and to be harmonious within our mind, and then use the thought when we need to. What is happening here is so many stimuli, EMR, nursing, everybody, right? For the doctor's life, I know about that, I'm talking about it. A lot of other people also so many stimuli. But ours is like a kind of pushed on us so much, so many data, people are not able to handle that. And it's like a going from morning till night, and then again from the morning to night, all that is not really good. I tell them, don't open your devices at least for 15 to half an hour, 15 minutes to half an hour in the morning. And also when you go to bed, shut them off first half an hour before you go to sleep. That itself helps a lot. But I go much deeper into how you can have awareness, how can you have meditative awareness, how can you can control your own reactions and all that, but not by just violent suppression, but by understanding and transcending it. So if you understand thought and understand awareness, you bring awareness to the front and thought to the back. That helps you sleep also. That helps your reactions with the colleagues and patients and all that. So there's so much there that I could contribute because I practice these things, right? And I know the benefit of that. No matter how many problems I have outside, but I can be very quiet and really be in the present and work what we have to do rather than worry or really recall past and go into the future. I live in the present. Does that make any sense to you, Sharon?
Yes. Yes, it does.
Yeah.
It does. I'm gonna reach out to you.
Yeah, to do that, we
Um.
will talk as a colleagues, and then we will see what lot of number of talks I do. You can come there too, but also you can call me. I have the WhatsApp number in my profile, and you can reach me there. Okay.
Okay.
Hmm.
Perfect. Well, thank you so much. This was very helpful.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure, sure. I think we need to go into the details once you understand what I examined about the system and why ancient healing systems were so wellness oriented because they are nature oriented, and why we are not doing it. If we understand all of that, we can easily see healthcare worker is a victim of the system, and we cannot really do much with the system as much as what we can do with ourselves. That's my point of view. I'm not supporting the system. I know it's a really spending so much money, but at the same time, we are not getting the outcomes for the patients either. Our health as a whole is going down. You say burnout is going to be such a problem that we will be having very shortage of physicians, nurses. Already it is there, but it will be much more. Then that will become a national emergency. On the,
you know what? We're already at a crisis level because even before the pandemic, we had a shortage of physicians. And then between 2021 and 2022, we had 117,000 physicians exit medicine.
Exactly,
right?
exactly.
And it keeps going. And just about every physician I know is looking for an out.
Yes. Janet, welcome, Janet and Indy. Yeah, go ahead, Sharon.
Yeah, so no, we are in crisis, but I don't know. We need to figure out how to reverse this because this is not good.
This is a major problem with the nursing already. Hi, Janet. So Janet, Janet is a nurse too, so she knows about what we are talking about. We are talking burnout, Janet. How the shortage is already crippling us. So I was talking about inner resilience that we could do to face this problem and at least protect ourselves so that we are, there to help the patients. What do you think about that, Janet?
One moment, sir, and I'll be
Okay. Okay, very good, very good. Yeah, she just came on now. Give her a moment. Anybody else wants to come up? Please raise your hand and you can come up, and then we will be happy to listen to you.
Oh, Dr. Rao, thank you so much. I your advice of being in the moment, being present, doing what you can is the best because it's so overwhelming.
Yeah.
But you can only do one thing at a time.
Mm.
You can't look back, you can't look too far ahead, right? You can plan and try. And when I reset the nurses, or sometimes even talk to some doctors that were really pressured because the workload is overwhelming.
Yeah.
I was reminded you can only do one thing at a time.
Yeah.
And I got that from you, so that was very, very helpful. And stay in the moment. Don't focus on everything you have because you can't do it. You can only do one thing at a time. There's no such thing as multitasking. Although they'll say it, but you multitask, you make mistakes. You need to take your breaks. You have to prioritize your health because at the end of the day, if something happens to you, or if you make a mistake, you're going to be fully held accountable. So you have to have appropriate rest.
Exactly.
You have to call on your resources and only do what you can do. So thanks for this room, Dr. Brown.
Yeah. See, that is what we talked a couple of years ago, I think, Janet and me. But then she is a continuously learning student from so many sources, and she kind of appreciated that inner resilience she has from that. That's what I'm talking about, Sharon. For example, the logic about present is very simple. Actually, if you really look at our life, it's always in the now. What has happened is gone, is the past. What is going to come is not yet here. Actual life moment, if you take, that is here now. It's not that easy to come because we have these mental habits of going back and thinking about something and regretting it or resenting it, all that. See, what is not needed is we don't need those emotional reactions, but we can remember the lessons we have learned from the past mistakes or past victories. That's all okay. But why do you have to spend energy, emotional energy, and intellectual energy by going through some things that are already done? Rather, focus on here and preserve that energy to solve the problems. So that's why I teach what's called don't react but respond to your job responsibilities and all that. That means what? You don't have to react something somebody said and all that. That is what happens to the physicians. We are under the gun, right, with the patients, relatives, nurses, pharmacists, and all the nurses also having the same thing. We are always under the gun. Somebody is criticizing, and then we feel like, oh, my ego is hurt. I'm feeling so bad. Then we are spending energy in that unnecessary thing. That's why I teach deep breathing. With the deep breathing, what happens is your mind will be tied to the breathing level, and then you can cut down the rapid thoughts that are going by themselves. And the deep breathing nullifies the sympathetic overload we have with our reactions. But deep breathing really wakes up the parasympathetic nervous system. That is the one which gives you the resilience. So I train people in the morning in my wellness club about deep breathing and being in the present, and carrying that to the work through the day, what's called PMBB, present moment breathing break. 1 minute every hour. Just remember that, then you go back to the presence that you cultivated in the morning, and that's a very easy way to be connected to that. And then in the evening, before you go to bed, just review the whole day and then dump it. If it is trivial, dump it right away. If it is important, then write it down on a device but dump it for the night, because you're not going to do anything through the night. But a lot of people sleep on this negative thoughts or worries and anxieties. My thing is like this: I'm not going to be able to do anything about that till tomorrow. Let me not have them here now. So when I wake up with a fresh mind, and I'll be able to look at them much easier. And I'm allowing my physiological body and mental body recover better, because my quality of sleep is pretty good. It is not too big problem really, once we understand our mental habits, once we understand how we go to the past or the future, and try to be here and now. That means what? Attention to whatever you do through the day. That's a mantra I use. Attention to every action, every act, or every task through the day. So that means if I see a patient, all the attention is on that patient. And once that patient is done, next patient comes, I'm not going to carry this material to the other patient. Again, that patient is given complete attention. So that if you can do that one thing, I'm going to pay complete attention to wherever I am or whatever I am doing. Like I go and watch a play or a movie, or just to go and me and my wife, we went to the woods this afternoon, and then we walked. We were talking about how to really use the forest bathing, where we don't want to think about things, but we want to allow the sounds, allow the sights, everything. We should enjoy them, like the greenery, the bird chirping, all that we face. That's about forest bathing, where you really get a lot of instances of good things from the nature. Once you are connected to nature like that, you are refreshed. Especially if you are working all the time on the computer or the devices and all that, you got to put them aside and then give a break like that. Sharon, I think, are you doing this? Go to the woods a little bit, maybe.
No, no.
Yeah, we'll talk about all that. There is a routine that I usually do, and also share with my colleagues. And if they do that, and if they're able to, this is not going to happen in one day, though. You got to go on practicing, go on talking with other people, and then make sure that you are doing it. That kind of thing, if you do something time, especially we have to understand how we are programmed, how we are conditioned, and then break from it, and then we will cultivate these new habits. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. So, Janet, we were talking about this proactive wellness. That's the topic we're talking about. But we talked about burnout also. Sharon brought in something that we were talking about it. But today's topic was, how can you be proactively well in terms of our pillars of wellness, the diet, nutrition, and also the exercise. Today's topic are those two. I was talking about the heat and everything going on, and how one gentleman wrote a book about heat can kill you, and that is very relevant. So I was talking about hydration. I was talking about really being cool, and also having the natural foods and other things that have a lot of water in it. I did a video on that too for the summer, what we should do, how we should take our nutrition also with a lot of fluid in that. That will help a lot. So this proactive wellness is where we're going to check our condition, both molecular level and biological level, neurological level, and also maybe genomic level. so that we are understanding where relatively our health will go, instead of detecting when the blood sugar is very high. If you have family history and you have a diet that is conducive, and you can see you are getting obese and all that, no activity, then we can take. That's a very simple thing. But now there is going to be much more attention to your inner biology, all the way to the mitochondria, how you can revamp them so that your energy will be much better, so that kind of awareness, that kind of availability of the testing that we are going to have, because of the nanotechnology, you don't have to take much blood to do all this comprehensive, not more than comprehensive metabolic panel. Is much more than what we have now. So then you can figure out what are the supplements I need to replace, what are the vitamins I need to replace, what are the hormones, so what are the toxins I have that I should eliminate. That kind of thing I'm talking about. How does that sound to you, Janet, as a healthcare professional?
Thank you so much for asking that. I really think that is what's key, is finding out how to be proactive.
Yeah,
Knowing what you need to do. If you're in your 50, like I'm 50, I really need to make sure I get those lab work. Even though I'm a nurse,
yeah,
I need to make sure I get it and take care of myself. Exercise,
yeah,
be mindful. And I just wanted to also thank you and Dr. Sharon for sharing your wisdom and for all the wonderful work that you do in helping patients. And I think part of the proactive care also involves hiring, making sure the people that working around you, we do our part and we are organized and we have the information you need so that you don't have to do multiple steps.
yeah,
And you can, because that can be stressful too if you round on the patient and the nurse keeps coming to you every minute for
yeah,
something. When there could be organization,
yeah,
that will help prevent burnout as well. I was at a doctor visit with my mom, and then they had a new computer system, and the nurse was like, "I don't know how this works. I'm gonna go ask the doctor." I'm like, oh, she shouldn't have asked the doctor about that, but that's fine. Maybe he knew more, but that's something that you definitely, as a helper to the physician,
yeah,
can be more proactive and more efficient in your roles to help his or her role
yeah.
do better and prevent burnout. Because there's one doctor, but you have all the nurses, all the patients, all the tech, everybody is you're the answer to all of that. So I just thank you all for even choosing that profession.
No, I have complaints at several levels. First of all, um, people have to take responsibility for their own health, become more health conscious. Maybe healthcare workers are not doing enough education, but nowadays we have this consumer health informatics, so much of personalized medicine, so much material there available for the people, that they can make themselves more educated about their own status, right? That is by being health conscious, not just going to the hospital or the doctor when they have a problem, but right in the beginning, how can I be proactive about my wellness? How can I be well rather than just develop illness? That kind of thing. And also systems themselves using just for money, commodity health. That is a major problem. That's where I think we need to wake up. Otherwise, we're spending so much money, but very poor outcomes as a people also. And other thing is all the mental health problems, all the addiction problems, all the loneliness, all this really leaving the professions, we are forced actually to leave the profession. I don't blame people who want to leave, because I understand what are the problems, right? So we all also have to come back to how can we make this a wellness oriented health system, where your doctor is trying to protect you from even getting sick as much as possible. That means more time spending, more education, more awareness of what can happen. Like we do it with the cancer, right? BRCA and all the genes that we check, and we tell them this. There's so much more will be available towards prevention and health maintenance. All that we have to do is understand how the restaurant industry is making us eat all sorts of processed food, how the EMRs, the televisions, and all that making us inactive, how we kind of really take a wine and sleep rather than allowing the natural sleep to strengthen itself. Things like that. There are so many problems with the lifestyles that we can attend. We don't have to be told by anybody, but we can change ourselves. That's what I always bring up, because I myself, Janet, you are a kid compared to me. You are only 50. I'm 69. So, so you are very young anyway. But even at my age, we have to really work at it, and then we have to be conscious about it. And the more we are into those four pillars, the more we calm our mind, the more sleep better and eat better and exercise moderately, and then share whatever knowledge we have with other people is good. And also use technology as an ally. I did that with the EMR. Not only I'm learning, I was teaching other people, thereby I learned much more faster. So any new hospital I go to, for 3 months I will be establishing myself with the EMR, with a desktop and everything. After that, every day EMR is a breeze, because my desktop is so good. It will warn me all the testing I've done, all the consultations I've done, all the templates are there for everything. So I used to do the everything so fast, so quickly, and I will help it about how can we have evidence-based templates, or even I was there from the beginning. So it was very easy as it became more and more easier. So engage and really enroll technology to help you better. That's one thing I think the doctors could do to help themselves, the burden to go down. For example, I was the first one in our hospital to have my, not only on the computer, the EMR, but on my iPhone and iPad too, so that I could do a remote connection into my house also. So I was able to manage that. If I want to talk to a patient, I will talk to them, and then I will go and complete the EMR document. After I go home, relax a little bit, and do that. So there are so many ways we can enlist EMRs and other technologies to help us. Like this AI has come now. Probably it will replace doctors in a major way, but still doctors will be needed to take care of the human needs of that. That's a good thing, I think. But AI itself is not going to do complete care. We got to have human touch. That will be there all the time. But using the AI to help us do more work in less time, that's what I'm doing. I kind of use that all the drudgery, all the mundane things with the AI. I accelerated it so that I have more time for myself and also more time for the family.
Yeah, definitely do think that there are ways that AI can help us help in one form. Yeah, it's not. It can use as a backup and like a second eye kind of a self check tool per se.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah, you can't. I mean, AI can't do a physical exam. It's not going to be able to replace that touch, that physical.
Yeah, very much.
Exam on a patient. They say, did you palpate a mass, or what was the size of your location? That type of stuff, and so that you don't forget, like you're thinking per se, but it cannot replace my physical exam.
Exactly. No doubt a patient touch, and then human touch will be needed. But there is a problem with the AI too. As it goes on, it could be in the bad hands and it can result some harm, privacy issues. Those are there. I follow that angle also from the people who are leaving Google, and a lot of talk is there about singularity and all that. That is there, but at this time it is something that can do a lot more in a less fraction way, and also it can enhance our cognition. Of course, ChatGPT only 21, but the other systems are up to date with web and all that, right? So that is going to be useful for us to deliver care to the patient better, and then also that time we have. when this is real, we can go and make the human contact with them and develop the soft skills to deal with them. And then actually that's good for us, Sharon. When you go and talk to the patients and establish a relationship, they are so appreciative, so grateful, majority of them, right? A lot of respect. You don't do that for that, but then still that feeds you, and that's why my energy goes up to the evening, because I'm making these rounds where everybody is kind of appreciative, or telling us what is going on, and then we are able to prevent problems because they brought it to our notice, things like that. So even though 3 or 4 consultants are there on my patient, whom I call them because they are actually managing the system, but I'm coordinating all of that. But I get all the credit because I'm always going and telling the patient and the family as things are happening. If a blood test is done, it is really reported. If it's something significant, right away the patient family, patient somebody will be told. That is my policy. All that resulted in better relationship with the patient, and that fed me a lot of good things, and which helped my energy to be up. Make sense, Sharon?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Anybody else wants to come up and say please? Good to close in a few minutes. I usually do this room between 6 to 7, and in the morning also I'm doing the rooms from 8 o'clock, unless there is something else comes in the morning. This room at least I keep doing it. Um, So Janet, I did a lot of videos on the doctor's burnout. You can check it out if you want to. And also this video I put in today. Last 3 days also I put some videos on the proactive wellness as a whole. I'm bringing in both the modern medicine and ancient wisdom. And somebody was questioning last night, you should be doing that ancient wisdom being a doctor. But they don't understand the ancients are very close to the nature, and they talked about health in a much more comprehensive way. They took human being as a human being. It's not like they kind of treated mechanically like the motor system that evolved into. So it's a holistic health thing, and I don't do them just like that, but I do them only when my scientific inquiry and venting has restored. So I don't recommend because of religion or because of the nation law, because I'm a global citizen, and I always told you people about that. And also I don't follow any religion as such. Even though I read about the wisdom in the religion, I don't identify with it. Hi Nazri, you have a question? You usually come up with a question there. Nazri?
Hello, Dr. Rao. Hello, everyone. Yes, thank you so much for this opportunity. It's a priceless always talking with you. I wanted to just share something because of like checking in, and that is I did some task that was out of my comfort zone today.
Yeah.
And usually when you do some accomplishments, the dopamine makes you feel happy, like you have done something good.
Yeah.
But this time I felt like after I did this, I felt like a bit it's like my brain structure changed a bit.
Yeah.
And I heard from Andrew Huberman, the neuroscientist, that when you do a task out of your comfort zone, hit of dopamine actually changes your personality because it changes the brain.
Yeah.
And today I felt a bit like I'm a different person, and I felt a bit like sadness and pressure in my brain and my mind, and that I felt sad for change of personality because people can easily, if it's so, that people's identity changes, and this is a bit overwhelming for me. I wanted to share this with you.
Yeah, Rajli. A simple thing at that time is, first thing you do is something like uncomfortable like that. Just to focus on the deep breathing with your attention on the airline acid. That means you are really tethering your mind to the breathing. That way you break that reaction that you had. Remember, I was talking about reaction versus response. This comes slowly, especially if you can go back in the night, like today, you reflect on the reaction that you had, and then resolve that somehow, or at least put it away because it already happened, it's gone, so you don't want to carry it into the sleep. That kind of preparation will help you down the line. If something like that should happen, you know what the reaction is coming on, and then you can be the witness consciousness of that reaction. This is how impulsive reactions, and then because of the conditioned reactions, habitual reactions, go down in intensity and then they go down completely. So you can be doing something, but you are not expecting anything from them, but doing itself is good for you that you are doing it, and that then you don't anticipate any reaction. Even if it comes, you don't bloom like, your ego says, oh, I'm so good, you're feeling good, and then somebody can put a pin in that and the balloon goes down. That is the problem. That's why yoga teaches something called samatvam yoga uchyate. That means mind staying equanimous in good deeds and bad deeds without really fluctuating too far away. That is yoga. So that kind of things are taught to us in the practice. Then you watch, not that you cannot react, you don't react, you do, but then some things, like you said, they can be very debilitating to us. That is the depletion of energy we should not be having. Then energy won't get spent, but the energy goes on increasing towards the day. So that's how you protect yourself. And it's more like a habit, more like a long-term living with kind of thing. And also, I'm glad, Nazli, you are very aware of what is happening within you. That's the first step, to really stand back and see what is going on with me, what is happening in life, how I am reacting, right? So that kind of awareness of inner reaction is a first step to understand them and transcend them. Not to suppress, not to fight with them, but understand them. That understanding itself transcends that kind of reactions. Thereby, you really not overcome, but you really kind of transcend them and to stay in that equanimous space. I talked. That's called samatvam yoga uchyate. Everybody who is a yoga, they will have this equanimous mind. Yeah, that's a good question. Nazli always asks very nice, and also she does somebody else. She really tells her own reaction, which is very good, I think. And that way, people can learn how to deal with their own inner self, not the egoic self, but also our inner self. Actually, that is the problem with modern societies. Are we think we are just the thoughts. See, that Rene Descartes, the French philosopher, he's a very good guy. And he was thinking, what is it that tells me I am? And he thought, I am thinking, therefore I am. But there's another element that the ancients explored and a lot of modern society philosophers explored is I am conscious, therefore I am. And that awareness, that is the consciousness, all thoughts, all emotions, everything happening, and not succumbing to it, but then looking at it like a witness. That is the one that is important to understand. Then thought becomes a tool, not everything. Because I'm thinking like this, I have this personality, I have the ego, and all that. That is what I am. That is the mistake. Instead, thoughts are happening to me in my awareness, so I can deal with the thoughts to put them from negative to positive, and also to only retain the positive. All that is a help for us for inner resilience. Hopefully that makes sense to you all. Okay, so, right, Angela, what do you think? Maybe Angela is busy dinner or something. um, all right, anybody else has anything to say or comment? Otherwise we'll close, it's beyond 7 o'clock now. Thanks, Janet. Thanks, Dr. Sharon, Angela, Nazli, Lucy, and Chris, everybody. And I'll see you back
Thank
again.
you.
Yeah, tomorrow. Okay. Sharon, you feel free to call me and then we'll sit down and talk. Okay.
Okay, well,
Okay.
thank you so much.
Okay.
Bye.
Bye bye.
Thank you.
Bye.